how long have you been wrestling tournament style, would you say?
2 years now.
How many matches approximately have you had?
Over 200.
I think a preconceived notion that parents have is
They like to delete their kids' losses so their kids look better and they don't get like embarrassed about their own kids.
you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Terrible thing.
Why?
I'm okay with showing my losses because those were hard losses.
You don't know how much you inspire me, man. I wish I could had your mindset at 9. Like, you're so far ahead of where most kids are, dude.
Thanks.
You are my best accountability coach that I could ever have. You're showing up. It makes all the difference in this world. I love you, dude. Welcome to the first ever
Alex Nicholas Show.
I am here with my very honored guest, Leonidas Alexander Nicholas. Wow, let's clap it up for him. So, never in my life did I think that I would be on a podcast, and especially my first podcast with my son. So I'm honored to have you here, sir, honored. And I want to get to know you on a deeper level, all right? When the lights are on, the cameras are on us, and ask you some questions today that I truly want the answers to, that even you as my son, I might not know the answers to. Think we could do that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So first thing I want to ask you, bud, is what is the number one thing right now in your life that you look forward to every day?
I look forward to getting better at wrestling and being a better person.
Okay. And what would you say you do? What actions do you take to make that statement true?
For the wrestling one, I every day I try to get better at wrestling. Like I go to practice and to help I just be kind to others and try to inspire other people.
The one thing that hit me hard the other day was when I was thinking about you and I was thinking about your school. You want to share what happened with the principal? You want to share what happened with getting in trouble or supposedly getting in trouble at school? And what happened?
Yeah, I was I don't really have this friend, but he thinks I'm his friend, and he always bullies this kid. And then he was bullying him, and I heard it, so I just was sitting there listening to him bullying him. So then one day at PE, the teacher called me up to go to the principal's office. And the reason why is because they said I was bullying him.
And what happened from there?
They let me leave, and then I never got disturbed again.
And it was interesting from my perspective, right? Because I got called by the assistant principal. And I don't know if I've told you the whole story, but when they called me, she asked me some questions. And she asked me, do you think Leo is the type of kid that would bully somebody else? And I gave her my most honest answer. I said, no, but anything's possible. But in my heart and in my soul, I knew that you did not do this, right? But I didn't want to say that to her. I wanted to hear what she thought. So I asked her, what do you think? And she said, I don't think Leo did this either. She goes, I think that a kid is blaming Leo so that he doesn't have to be accountable for the actions in his life. And what happened there? The moral of the story is you were honest. You were honest. You were kind. You did the right thing. And in this case, it worked out. And what can you do best? What do you do best, in my opinion, is you lead. You lead from the front. You lead by example. And I love you for it. It's something that inspires me every day.
Thanks.
You're welcome, buddy. You're welcome. What would you say is something challenging, buddy, in your life that you think about? You say to yourself, all right, I can do better, or I can help somebody, or just a challenging part of your life right now being 9 years old?
Probably getting through all my sisters like in the morning, because sometimes they're grumpy, sometimes they play too much, so it's really hard for me when I should play with them or like let them be alone.
Got it. Yeah, I would agree. You have a sister that's 5 years old. You have a sister that's 2 years old, and then you got a little bro, right? You got a little bro who's 3 months old. With your sisters, from my view of being all of your dads, we got Jaxby, who's like we call her the gremlin, right? And then we got Cash right now, who just screams all the time because she's 2.
And she's mostly grumpy.
Mostly grumpy right now, yeah. And why do you think Cash is grumpy?
Because she used to get all the attention, but she's now not. So then she's getting grumpy about it.
I agree. It's one of those situations, right? And the family dynamic has changed a lot, where at one point you were the only child. You were the only child who got all the attention.
Best 4 years of my life.
Yeah. I feel you, buddy. I feel you. And what happened for you is, Jaxby comes along, then Cashy comes along, then Rocky comes along, and it's not even your choice. You get thrust into a leadership role. You get thrust into a role where you have to share the attention of your parents. And now, like it or not, you get to choose what's up here in your mindset. A lot of people in life, Leo, they look at things negative and they'd say, it used to be a certain way and now it's not, right? Oh, like I wish I just had my parents' attention and, all of these things didn't exist. But what we talk about, right? The winners in life, it's like, you don't have to, you get to. You get the honor of being the big brother. You get the honor of helping and serving these kids, right? And shaping Jaxby's life and shaping Cashy's life. And from my perspective, I'm so proud of you because you do it by example, right? You show up every day and you do the things that need to be done to be that big brother that actually inspires your sisters. They want to be wrestlers. They want to go into like the things that you do.
I don't really know if Cashy does, but still a chance.
Still a chance. How old is she?
2.
Yeah, she got some years to figure it out, I would say. As you get older and as me and you, our relationship, what I'm learning, because you're my oldest, is that you have your own style, right? You have your own brand, so to speak. You have your own way about you, no matter what I want for you. So it's a balance for me as a dad. It's balancing what you want versus what I want and shaping your life and being the guide for you. And it's a tricky balance. So I'm going to ask you a question. What can I do better as a dad to let you be you, but still be a parent that guides you in the right manner?
So don't really help me on everything, like let me struggle. But sometimes if stuff gets like a little too hard, like I can't do something, you can help me understand it, then I could learn it.
Okay, that's good. Do you have a specific example you could think of?
Yeah, so like if I'm doing my math homework and there's this really hard problem I can't figure out, I would like you to help me, but I want you to let me struggle first.
Got it. And that mentality, buddy, is what I love about you. Other people in this world would just say, hey, Mom, Dad, can you just do this problem for me, right? And parents these days seem to like to figure out their children's problems, right? Where if I just figure out your problems for you, you don't get any better, right? But if you struggle a bit and you're uncomfortable, but I'm there for you, that gives you the opportunity to be independent. And that's really difficult these days for parents to help the kids, but at the same point, let them struggle. As parents, in my perspective, that's a really hard thing to figure out every day where that line is, right? How do I help guide you, but not take away the opportunity you have to have your own journey?
Makes sense.
All right. Thanks.
Not rocket science.
Not rocket science. So one of the things me and you love to do for fun is watch WWE, right? And through WWE, where people we'll call that, what's the word a lot of people call WWE?
Fake.
Fake, right? And we've both determined that there's literally nothing fake about WWE, right? The people that are in it, they're athletic. They're the best at
Acting.
Exactly. They're in character, right? We know these things to be true because let's just say Monday Night Raw is the longest running show on cable television. So no matter what, when we talk about hate or haters, like we know they're doing something right, because if people quote unquote either say they don't watch WWE or it's fake or it's this or it's that, for that to be true, that means nobody would watch it, right? We know since Netflix bought the rights for over $1 billion, that's what talks, right? We know, okay, people can say a lot about it, but what's real? What's real is they have a television deal with Netflix for over $1 billion.
Why would they do it if nobody watches it?
Exactly. And my philosophy, and I've taught you this, is that a lot of people aren't real. And in the sense of not being real, they don't actually say, or they're embarrassed to say that they watch WWE, right? Because why? It looks like a show where it's these, a lot of times, macho guys with oil in their hair and they're all like tanned up and they're saying ridiculous stuff. And what happens is like, oh, I don't relate with that. People will say that, right? But we both know, like, being in character in life, you have an opportunity and I have an opportunity every day to show up and be authentic through the character who we truly are. It's like, if you're having a bad day or I'm having a bad day, we can decide to show up and be miserable in the day, because that might be an honest feeling, right? But you take a deep breath, I take a deep breath, and you know what? We start the day and we say, "What's up, Leo? How's it going?" And good. You know what? Love your shoes today, bro.
Thanks.
Awesome.
I really like mismatch.
Yes, same here. And that's something we got in common. It changes the mindset. It changes it's called a pattern disrupt in your life. And through being in a character, you're actually being authentic. Because what do we do? Do we sit in that misery if we're upset?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's nice to know your feelings, be in touch with it. But at the end of the day, it won't serve you to stay in that miserable character.
It won't help you at all.
No.
It just makes you worse.
Yes. And what have I taught you through life with being booed? Like if you're...
Love the booze.
Love the booze, right? Because we know in life that if you're getting some sort of hate, what is it for real that someone really is?
They're jealous.
Yes. Yeah. And tell me what you think about that.
I think because they're jealous, they don't like how you are.
Would you agree that during a process like this, that there's someone might pick on you, make fun of you, tell you, you're worthless, that's stupid, you look silly, your hair looks dumb, your shoes look dumb, right? But it is the true feeling a lot of the time that they're, one, jealous, but then what happens is from the jealousy, they start to follow, and then they start to be your biggest fans. If you're doing something where life itself you're acting in a positive manner, it doesn't have to be in the moment every second. You got to be positive. Sometimes it's tough love with people. Sometimes it's telling them the truth so that they get better. And it's creating an uncomfortable situation, which makes people get better. That make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So where do you want this podcast to go? You're the guest today.
I want this podcast to go good.
So do I. We have an opportunity to talk and discuss things on any level, right? So we can talk about your school. We can talk about wrestling. We can talk about life. And that's what this podcast is for. It's like an opportunity for you to share a message with the world.
I want to talk about my school.
Okay, good. So,
first thing I want to talk about is my math score for my fast test.
Okay.
So, usually I don't get the best scores in the class, but I get a pretty high score, right?
Yep.
Last week when I took my fast test and I saw my score, I got 252 out of 260. It was
Wow.
my best score of all time.
Okay. Why do you think that happened?
Because I always paid attention in math and always I was never like the kid goofing off while like they were teaching.
Okay. Were there days you wanted to goof off?
Yes.
Yeah. And you decided not to?
Yes.
Okay. What kept you disciplined on not goofing off?
Because I really wanted a perfect or close to perfect score.
And why is that important?
Because it makes me feel good. It makes myself feel good.
What I love and I'm so proud of you is like, for me as your dad, like that score isn't end all be all or that important to me. It's the why you want that score, right? It keeps you disciplined and it keeps you aiming at a goal, and you're willing to sacrifice to get there. You're willing to not be one of those kids in school that goofs off, be a distraction. And in life, that's one of the hardest things to do is be that guy. Be the guy that's the leader from the front than being the guy behind and being the guy that's always
Little behind.
Yeah. You get a choice in life. You can be a problem solver or a problem maker.
And I choose the problem solver.
You do. What's something you want to teach me today?
I don't know. Like everything I know, you know right now.
I'll tell you this. That's not true. Because you teach me so much through your eyes and your vision, because you're 9 and I'm 46. And through you, I can see the world through your glasses, so to speak, your eyes, through your experiences, because I've forgotten a lot of how it is to be 9, right? I've seen the world for 46 years, and the first years, everything is beautiful and positive and awesome, right? And it still is. But through those years, I've taken a lot of trauma, like hits, where it comes to maybe someone lied to me. Maybe a business deal didn't go right. Maybe a relationship didn't go right.
Maybe you actually got a hit.
Maybe I actually got hit, from football, right? So all of these things add up to who I am today, where, yes, I choose to stay in the positive, but sometimes doubt creeps in, or sometimes I think about an awful experience that happened. With you, especially at 9, you have such a positive outlook on life and such a inspiring view. So what I learned from you indirectly is how beautiful the world is, and how beautiful the world is from a perspective that I sometimes forget. So that's something you teach me every day. What is it now going forward, like in the next few months, you want to really focus on?
I want to focus on trying to learn more about life.
Okay.
And helping the house with chores. And I even want to try to learn a new language.
Okay. I didn't know that. What language are you trying to learn?
Greek.
Greek. Okay. All right. Wow. So to learn a new language, it's going to take what?
Discipline, smarts, and memorization.
I've got to provide you the tools on how to get there. So what tools are you asking for? And I can either grant them or not as your parent.
Asking tools to learn about life.
Yeah, but the specifics on Greek, like what can I do as your dad? You want to learn Greek? What can I provide you with?
You can also learn Greek, and we could talk in Greek, and we could learn more about Greek. By talking, by English, you talk, and then you get better at talking over time. It's the same way with Greek.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is great. What can you and I do together, even if it's daily for 5 minutes? Is there a tool, or is there something me and you should get that we can stay on task and learn Greek?
We could stay on task by, we have to do the push-ups every day. We could write it on the board and also on the calendar, the new digital calendar
Yep.
Cece got. We could use it on that.
All right, yeah, my idea is we either go on YouTube or something where we learn sight words. What we'll do is we'll do 10 sight words and we'll memorize them. And then we'll do that. We'll do it 5 minutes a day. How about we make a commitment? 5 minutes a day, we'll start learning Greek.
And there's also this app called, I think, like it's an owl app, and it helps you learn new language.
Duolingo.
Duolingo, yes.
Okay. So, all right, let's do that. Let's do Duolingo, and you and I will start learning the language together.
And then I think, how about in 2 months we come back and we teach everybody Greek.
I like that. We'll teach them what we learned. That's great. That by doing that, buddy, we're putting that out to the universe. So we're going to be held accountable by the podcast, right? I love that. So by the time we come back on the show 2 months from now, you and I will have a simple conversation in Greek. Fair?
Uh-huh.
That's our action item for this podcast, so that we actually stay intentional and we do something that actually makes a difference. What makes wrestling different from other sports for kids?
Number one, you're alone. So like combat sports are way harder than team sports, I think, because you're the only one out there. You can't blame it on your like teammate, or like in basketball, oh, he didn't shoot that. He didn't shoot, so we lost. So you're blaming it on somebody else. In wrestling, you can't. Who would you blame it on?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know.
You have to blame it on yourself.
And how long have you been wrestling tournament style, would you say?
2 years now?
2 years, yeah. How many matches approximately have you had?
Over 200.
200. I think a preconceived notion that parents have is
they like to delete their kids' losses so their kids will look better, and they don't get like embarrassed about their own kids.
Yeah, that's true. And you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Terrible thing.
Why?
Like I'm okay with showing my losses because I'm proud of those losses, because those were hard losses.
I love it, dude. Like you don't know how much you inspire me, man. I wish I could had your mindset at 9. Like we talk about, like as a dad, like you're so far ahead of where most kids are, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love you so much, man. It's hearing those words you say, and it's how do we judge wins and losses?
By effort.
Yep. And you showing up to life every day is it never gives me an excuse not to show up every day. Because there's days I want to quit. I want to quit sometimes with work. I want to quit sometimes with relationships, and I want to quit. But you know what? There's no choice. I'll never quit. And you help me with that every day, because you are my best accountability coach that I could ever have. Because the second I have fear and doubt and uncertainty in my life, I look at you and I see you, and you're doing it, dude. You're doing life the way I've taught you, and you're showing up. And that makes all the difference, buddy. It makes all the difference in this world. I love you, dude. Oh, all right. There's some pollen in the air. I think I got a little thing in my eye. That was weird. Yeah. I think it was the lighting that got me there. Okay.
It's really bright.
So, you know, like we talked about, like the wrestling with the losses, like they're not, we both know it's losses is growth, right? And the things that we need the most in life is the learning lessons from that. What do you think you've learned most from the losses that you've had?
I've learned like how to sprawl better. I've learned how to shoot better. I've learned everything better, and I've learned more because when you lose, you work on why you lost, and then you get to wrestle that kid again. Then if you lose again, you could do the same thing you lost, why you lost, or if you win, you go on to the next.
Okay. Let's talk about one of your matches at States where you were facing the Georgia State champ. And what went through your head, like before that match and during that match?
Before that match, I was doubting myself, but I knew I could do it.
Okay.
So I had mixed feelings of I can do it and I can't, and I might do it. But I knew the same thing was going through the other kid's mind. Because I bet he saw my profile, and he saw 146 wins and 40 losses.
Mm-hmm. Take somebody through a journey, Leo, who's never wrestled and never had that nervousness, that pressure before the match, where he's looking at you, you're looking at him. Paint that picture for somebody that's never wrestled before and never had a one-on-one combat sport interaction so that somebody could feel it the way you felt it.
When I got there, I was all nervous because I knew I would beat the first guy, but then my second match was against this really, really good kid, JD Pak. So I was nervous, but I felt I looked confident. So I was confident. So I was staring him down, and I saw him getting weaker and weaker. So in the match, it was 1-0-0, right? He chose bottom at third period. He chose bottom, and I cradled him. So I crossfaded him, I cradled him, and I got 4 points. Was it 3 or 4?
Well, I think on the
oh yeah, it was 3 because
takedown.
No, I got 3 because I got back.
Oh, back points. Correct. You're right.
And then no, that was second period, my fault.
Mm-hmm.
And then in third period he chose neutral and he shot, and it was at 3 seconds, 2, 1, and then at 0 he was behind, so they didn't count it. So then I won that match by 3-0.
And what did you learn about yourself during that match?
I learned if I was confident, I would win.
Okay. And what have you learned going into matches where somebody maybe has wrestled for 6 years or has more matches than you, or you've lost to in the past? What's your mentality going into the match?
Sometimes if it's I'm a really, really hard guy, remember the kid that beat me in States?
Mm-hmm.
I get go into beast mode and beat them up at the start. But sometimes they come out faster, so I can't get it.
Yeah.
So after that, I try to work my own moves and try to get in their head. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I was close because at States, remember I lost 3-0?
Yeah.
At the other one where I wrestled him, it was 8-7, right?
Correct.
So I was 1 point away in that scramble if I didn't let him get that first point.
So what would you say to kids, advice for kids that are struggling with if they've lost, if they're in one-on-one sports and they've lost in the past and they're losing confidence or they don't believe in themselves? What advice would you give kids?
I would tell them to just think about getting your hand raised and thinking about winning and getting better. And then that might give them the confidence to go out and beat the kid that they lost to.
Okay, I like that. For kids that would say to you, but I can't, you don't understand, Leo. I don't know how to do that. What more would you tell them?
You can do that. You just need to believe in yourself.
And how can they believe in themselves more?
By showing themselves they can do it.
And what would you advise people to do so that they gain more confidence?
Try to go a little slower and try to get get through the motion, then go a little faster, then each time go a little faster than faster than faster than faster until you're at a quick, very quick speed.
What advice would you give to a kid who's getting bullied in school right now? Let's say someone's getting picked on and they don't know what to do. They're scared to tell their parents. They're scared to tell the teacher, and they feel alone.
The only way to beat a bully is to walk away or fight them. It's the only way to beat a bully. I would choose walk away if I was somebody like you, but personally, I would fight them.
Okay. I like that. Why would you fight a bully?
Number one, if they were picking on my friend, or number two, they were picking on me.
Why would you fight him? Like, what would that do, you think?
It would make him get scared of me and not mess with my friend or me.
So through sticking up for yourself, that bully will then go somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay. I like that. But for people that aren't yet there, where they don't feel like they can defend themselves, the best advice you can give is walk away.
Walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, would you say it's important for every kid in this world to find some sort of self-defense so that they feel more confident in themselves?
Yes.
How important is that, you think?
It's very, because what happens if you're like turn into an adult and you've never fought in a fight, and then you get married, but then somebody wants to take your wife's purse, and you don't know how to fight back? How would you fight?
You're right. And in this society, in this day and age, as a 46-year-old man, for your sisters and my daughters, that's a fear. And I'm teaching them at a young age that they better learn how to fight. I hate violence. Violence is one thing, but fighting for the sense of sticking up for yourself or others is so important. So important, because it gives you the confidence in everything else in your life. When people are bullies, the one thing bullies don't like
Is getting fought.
is getting bullied. They will go pick on somebody else, or they will change. But if you let bullies bully, that empowers them to do more bullying. So in life, there's only two ways, and you identified it. And both are right. You walk away from a bully, so you take the power away, because anytime they're emotionally or verbally abusing you, if you walk away and they can't do it, you've taken their power, right? If you stand up to a bully and you give them a dose of their own medicine, right? Hopefully then they feel how what they're doing to someone else is wrong. It's not right. And they stop. But the one thing I'd say you'd have to be careful of is power is a very interesting word, right? Like we talk about from Spider-Man, Uncle Ben, with great power comes great responsibility. And people abuse power, right? So you have a gift as a 9-year-old that you are able to, one, be able to stick up for people, right? You try to make the right choices for people that can't, and then not abuse the power, right? Because if you started bullying others, then what does that make you?
A bully. But I'm a bully. I bully the bullies.
Okay. So you'd say you're a bully protector. You
Yes.
protect people from the bullies.
Yes.
Okay.
A bully that bullies bullies.
We probably need to come up with a better word.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would say, what word can we use? You could be a protector of people who are bullied. Probably need to work on the word for that. So big change in your life is you're going to a different school next year, right?
Yeah.
And are you going with your sister?
Yeah.
Is this the first time you and your sister are going to be?
Yes.
And you seem pretty pumped about that.
I am.
Right.
The one thing is the school, because you see all my like nice clothing, these shoes, my hair, my shirt, my shorts. I won't be able to wear any of this. I'll have to wear a uniform. I don't know about these shoes, and I don't know about my hair.
So the good thing is, I think there's a balance in life, right? Where you're going to have to wear a uniform going to school next year, right? So again, we can look at it as a positive or a negative. It all depends how our mindset is. So looking at it, right, one of two things. Maybe you can't wear your cool shoes and maybe you can't spike your hair up, right? But maybe there's other things that you can do so you can still show your personality within a uniform. And what it will do is it'll test your creativity and it'll test your mindset. Because if you take away your shoes and you take away your hair, are you still Leonidas?
Yes.
Okay. Doesn't matter if you're wearing
It's not as cool.
I like that. I like that. So yeah, but at the end of the day, if Superman has on his cape and his uniform, or he has on a suit, is Superman still Superman?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know the answer to that question. It doesn't change anything about who you are.
Just changes how you look.
That's all. And in life, buddy, like, you're going to learn this. Appearance is super important because you need to find people where they can be met, right? So creating what you do with your persona, right? Your hair, your shoes, you get someone's attention, which is so important in this day and age, because then you have the gift of actually showing them what's real. And what's real is your authenticity, who you are, the positivity you bring, the way you're able to help people through, protecting them from bullies, telling the truth, being kind, being funny, doing the best when you're in any type of athletic endeavor, doing the best when you're at school.
Trying my hardest.
Trying your hardest, right? Because we both know, like, you can live in that moment when you lose. Like, I've done it. If I could tell you that the amount of time I wasted in my life agonizing over my losses, it's a waste of time. You should feel it for a little bit, feel it. And then what do we
feel it for like 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours?
And then what do?
Throw it in the garbage.
That's it. We let it go. So through that, you become you, and you become that guy that impacts the rest of the world. We don't know, right? If we impact one person, like with this podcast, there might be 10 million people that watch it. There might be one. For me, it doesn't matter anymore. I used to chase the likes. I used to chase the followers. I used to chase all of it. It doesn't matter to me anymore.
Just matters this. I hear us talking.
That's it. Because you and I get to know each other on a deeper level through this podcast. It's a hell of a lot more impactful than, I would say, 1 hour of school.
Way more.
because even through, if we reach one person with the relationship you and I have, that's what's important. That maybe there's a dad and a son that are arguing every day. Maybe they're not connecting. Maybe the father has a story in his mind that he doesn't feel like he's connected to his son because he has to work a lot because he has to provide, or his son isn't into athletics, but he is, or he's got 4 or 5 kids, so he doesn't have the time, right? But you and I have always learned, you know what? You have to make time for the people you love. You have to be intentional with your time. Like right now, there's no distractions. It's me and you, right?
These lights are a little bright.
These lights are a little bright. I agree. These lights are a little bright, but at the end of the day, like, I'm not in my phone like this, right? You're not trying to get on an iPad or doing anything like that. We're being intentional with our time. And I think what happens, bud, is that people in this day and age, they're trying to multitask at all times. So they're trying to do...
like wind block blast while washing the dishes.
Yes. And then for adults, it's doing an email while...
making dinner.
Making dinner while trying to talk to your daughter, right? All 3 things, you can probably get them all done.
Faster than you could do them all 3 at the same time.
Well, that's the problem, is people try to do all of this stuff at once, and then they're not showing up in their life 100% for one of those 3 things. There's a time and a place for multitasking, but I think that what's happening is the connection people have with their family
is getting lower and lower.
It is. And people don't like to deal with their own problems, because dealing with your own problems is the hardest thing to do. So what do?
They just don't deal with them.
They don't. Or they make up stories in their head. I've got to take care of, I don't have time to deal with my own problems. I got to deal with my children's problems. I got to deal with my wife's problems. I got to deal with my friends' problems.
How would you deal with your friends' problems? It makes more sense to do it with your family, but not your friend.
Yeah. But anything that can occupy someone's mind so that they don't have to do the hard things.
Yourself.
Exactly. It's having uncomfortable conversations with yourself. Having an uncomfortable conversation with yourself is the hardest conversation to have.
It's kind of like a hard tongue twister.
It is. It is. Let's just say this, like probably talking to your mom about you being on a podcast, right? I don't know if she's going to be a fan of it or not, but I know that you are something so special that if you can't show who you are to the world, then
Why show yourself at all?
exactly. And I believe everybody should show themselves because you don't know who's going to resonate with who. There are kids out there that are 9 years old that are going to look at you and say, I have part of Leo inside me. I'm just not showing it. And same with me at 46 being a dad. There's parts of me that I'm scared to show. I'm scared because what if someone makes fun of me, Leo? What if someone watches this podcast and they say, what an idiot. He's got 2 different color shoes on, or they concentrate on, like this guy's full of himself. He's selfish. He's egotistical. He's all of these things. And those all go through my mind. There's stories I tell myself in my head that people in life are going to look at me like that. What advice would you give me so that I don't think like that?
Number one, I would don't want you not think about those.
Okay.
Because what if that happens? What's the worst thing that can happen? The worst thing. Give me one thing.
Okay. The worst thing that would happen if someone said a bad comment on social media about me is it would make me feel not worthy of having a podcast.
Then don't listen. Then don't look at your comments after a podcast.
That's good advice. That's post and ghost. Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
I know. So it'd be like post the podcast and then don't even look at the comments.
Yes.
All right. That's good advice. All right. What other things would you say that I could do so that I don't feel like that?
Maybe get therapy.
Okay. I like that. Yep. So that I get stronger. Okay. So basically what you're saying is it's okay to ask for help in life.
Yes.
Yeah. And that makes,
But you shouldn't always ask for help. You can ask for help.
got it. I like
What
that.
I said with my homework, don't always ask for help.
Yep.
You have to try first.
Yep. Just talking through this, you're right. Like what's the only team? What is the number one team I'm on?
Your family.
Yes. And that in itself is like, hey, I only care about what my teammates think of me, which is,
Your family.
my family. And that's the important part that I always remember that's what matters, not anybody else, not anybody else's opinion on it. Because at the end of the day, who is it? Who's the truth?
Yourself.
Yes.
You're the only one that has the actual truth.
Yep. And that's what I love about you and I and the relationship we have with our family. The truth is there's always going to be your truth. Showing up for yourself every day is the only real thing we have, right? I'm always going to be here for you. But like you said, when you walk out on a wrestling mat, I can't wrestle for you. Like, I can't take the test.
I can't stop the match and see what I did wrong and then come back in the match.
Yep. You gotta live in that moment, and then what you can do better if you didn't win.
What you do next time.
Exactly. And you can do it through mental practice, emotional practice, and physical practice. And everything in life, I believe, comes back to those 3 things. Is how do you get better emotionally every day? How do you get better physically every day? And how do you get better mentally every day? And if you're just doing one thing each day, even if it's small, like for us right now on the physical, we do 10 push-ups. Like we're going to do them at the end of the podcast. We're just going to rip our 10 push-ups. Okay.
I already did them today.
Did you really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're going to do another 10 because your dad hasn't done them yet. On an emotional level, it's connecting. Maybe it's just giving you a hug. Maybe it's just, giving Cassidy, Cece a hug. That's an emotional thing to do. And the best times I believe to give a hug is when you're so angry at a person. because that's the hardest time to hug somebody is if they've done something that's really upset you or something's happened where you're so infuriated. If you have the forgiveness in your heart to truly hug somebody, that's real love. It's easy to love somebody when things are going great, right? But
That's one of the easiest things to love. Good love.
yeah.
Tough love's hard.
Yes.
Sometimes love hurts.
It does. It does. And then mentally, it's like just staying strong. It's doing the things you don't like to do every day, right? Maybe it's practice when you're sore, you're tired, going to wrestling practice, or doing your homework on math that is either too hard or it's
Algebra.
Yeah,
I haven't done algebra yet.
exactly. So those are 3 things you can do every day. For your last 10 minutes on the show, what would you like to see happen? What is there something, what if we could take this direction anywhere with the last 10 minutes?
I want to thank people that have been in my life that helped me along the way and like brought me here to this chair next to my dad. There's lots of people. Number 1, it's you. Number 2, it's Cece. Number 3, it's like my mom. Number 4, it's like everybody in my family. Number 5, it's like I already said my friends, everybody I've known that helps me brought me to this chair. I couldn't have got here without you. I couldn't get here without my mom. I couldn't get here without my sisters because this is why I was with my sister when I thought of it.
Well, explain that. Well, why?
Because remember when I wanted my own YouTube channel?
Yes.
I was with my sister. Then my sister was like just playing around, and then she said, "Do you want to do a podcast?" And I was like, "That's a great idea." So then I asked you, and then you said we could do it with me. So that's why I would like to nominate the next special guest for Jaxby.
Jaxby, okay. Jaxby will definitely be on the show,
Yeah.
and that would be a very, very interesting podcast.
I know.
Having our 5-year-old Jaxby on the show. What drives you with Jaxby? Like, what is it having a little sister that you love?
I love her because she's my family and she helps me. I help her. We do stuff together. Sometimes I do stuff without her and it's not as good as if we did it together because sometimes I do stuff by myself, but it's not as good because when Jaxby's there, I feel more motivated.
That's awesome. So, because sometimes in life, the family dynamic is like the little sister drives the older brother crazy, right? Now, does she drive you crazy sometimes?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I drive her crazy. Sometimes Cassie drives her crazy. Sometimes Jaxby drives Cassie crazy. Sometimes Cassie drives me crazy. Sometimes I drive Cassie crazy. So we all drive each other crazy. It's okay. That's how we learn.
Would you have it any other way?
No.
Okay.
No. I personally think Jaxby's like a perfect fit in this family.
Okay. Why would you say that?
Because, the Nicholas family is always like, how do I put this but not embarrassing myself?
Risk it, bud. I'm going to tell you in life, go for it.
Crazy.
Good. We have totally lost our minds a long time ago. Absolutely.
And Jaxby, I think, is one of them that drives all of us because what did Jaxby ever do to you that helped you get better, get crazier? By driving you crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He drives everybody crazy.
Yes, because he's an infant, but she will drive him crazy. But Jaxby's got an energy about her that is not like anybody I've ever seen.
No.
And
No, not even close.
where you are, I would say more like a
Positive.
positive, but not even that. Like, if we had to go to animals that are like domesticated animals, you are definitely more like a powerful, like golden retriever that could protect the family, right? But you're so loyal and kind and smile. And Jaxby is more like a tiger, where she's a feline, she's a cat, where it's like, you need to earn that girl's affection. Like one day she'll just look at you and side eye you, and you might say the nicest thing, but she just goes and looks at it and you're like, oh, like,
here she comes,
or she doesn't care, right? But she does. She's processing in her mind. But you have to earn, in a weird way, you have to earn her affection. She's the only 5-year-old in the world I know that whispers in their parents' ear, Daddy, don't put me to bed. You can go now. And dismisses me from wanting to cuddle with her. She's 5. What 5-year-old does that? So I'm learning as a parent, like, I haven't seen anything in any book that any kid does that, right? So I got to figure out.
The exact opposite.
Exactly. And that's the journey with being a dad. Like, every kid is different. You can parent the kids the same exact way.
They're all going to turn out different.
All could turn out different. So there is no right or wrong. I joke about this. I used to think an elf was going to drop off a manual once I became a dad, like at my door and say, here, this is what you're supposed to do.
Actually?
Oh, yeah. Like Dobby the elf, like in Harry Potter. Like, he was literally going to come by and say, here's the manual. And what you learn, Leo?
There is no manual.
And exactly. And there's no elf coming. I still check the door sometimes. He doesn't show up. So
it's a little late.
It's a little late. I don't think he's ever coming. I gotta stop wasting brain power on thinking Dobby the elf's going to come and be like, here, this is how to parent. So that becomes the adventure.
I haven't watched Harry Potter yet.
No, you haven't. It's maybe something maybe you should read the book.
What book?
Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter has a book?
Yes. Look what we learned today. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that if we're going to learn Greek, you should be reading Percy Jackson. Because Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief, that is the Greek mythology.
Oh, I've read that, but in comic.
In the comic, yeah. I think it's time for you to read the real book. You got to get the story out of your mind because you're getting to the age where picture books and stuff like that, like, you're way past that. You know what?
Graphic novels.
Graphic novels are awesome. They're awesome, but you got to mix them in. What is your biggest takeaway from this podcast? And then I'll share mine.
At first, I only knew like the basic things about you. Now I get to learn deeper.
I like that. My biggest takeaway is actually, I used to think that sitting in front of like lights and a camera
was always like so much pressure.
Yeah, pressure, and that it was fake. Like every time I watch something, I don't know if it's fake or not, right? But I know that this, like going back to what we've talked about with WWE or anything in life, like we've just had a real conversation, you and I. There's nothing fake about this. We didn't script what we were going to talk about. I didn't plant words in your mouth and you didn't plant words in mine. And we learned a lot about each other through an open conversation. And this will inspire people. One way or another, they're going to take something away from this. And that, my friend, is, I think, why you and I were put on this earth.
So we were supposed to follow this path or no?
That is the best question. You know what the fun part is?
I don't know. No path.
There is none. We make our path. And that's what this life is. It's all about making decisions. Like, what do I always say? And this is the thing, I think the thing to leave this on is, indecision is a decision in itself. And as long as you're trying,
you're making a decision.
Exactly. And you're actually then providing for not only yourself, but for others. Because making shit happen in life is the most important thing you can do.
Even if it's better than doing something and doing something wrong than not trying at all.
Exactly.
Like trying something and then you accidentally didn't do it right. It's better than not trying. Because if you're not trying, you're technically doing the wrong thing. But no, you can't do the wrong thing because you didn't try. But you're never doing the right thing.
The best thing that we can give to each other is to keep trying no matter what. If you're angry at me, I'm angry at you. We keep trying.
Hug it out.
Hug it out. Hug it out. All right, buddy. I love you so much. And thank you.
No, this is the end.
This is the end.